Hey guys, welcome back to Popcorn and Champagne.
This is season 5, episode 1. Woo! Hey Tiff.
Hey Tony.
Happy New Year.
Same to
Happy
you.
New Year, y'all.
Merry Christmas, all that good stuff.
All that good stuff. We are back and we thank you guys so much for joining us. Make sure that you check us out on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes, we missed you guys, but
Definitely.
we are back.
Yeah. And shout out to our sponsors, Colonel Popcorn, and where you can get 10% off the Tony and Tiff mix.
Yay.
Yeah. It's so good to be back.
It is.
I know we've watched a lot of stuff since we've been on hiatus.
Yes.
We can't fit it all into one show with
You
all
really
the stuff
can't.
that we've watched.
It's
right?
just...
I know it is. So now it's time for
infotainment.
Okay, so Jay-Z, the Grammys were a couple weeks ago, right?
Yes.
And one of the things that stood out was Jay-Z, who won the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award.
Yes.
Okay. What'd you think of his speech?
I loved it. I thought if that was my man up there talking and professing, his admiration for my work, I would have left there nice and moist.
Yeah. Oh. Wow. Should be moist. Okay.
I mean, I'm just saying it was
just that
televised all over the country, and he's telling these people, my wife has won 32 Grammys.
Right.
The most celebrated
And
woman.
it is something to that because you've won 32 Grammys, the most anybody has done.
That's right.
And she's never gotten Album of the Year.
No.
I don't understand that. And like Jay-Z said, make it make sense. You cannot make that make sense.
And our boy Kanye kind of said it back in the day. He just grabbed the mic from the wrong person.
He did. But he did make sense of that.
He did.
But at the same time, I get it. She should have she's had a ton of hits.
I know.
For her not to be Album of the Year is unbelievable to me. Shout out to Taylor Swift who won it. I'm not a Swiftie, so I don't get it.
Yeah.
She's good in her own right.
Absolutely.
I suppose.
Absolutely.
But anyway, okay. Moving on. So Club Shay Shay.
Yeah, so
Club Shay Shay been cutting up.
Baby, let me just say, shout out to Shannon Sharp. We love you. Popcorn and Champagne loves you.
Yes,
Shannon.
Definitely.
You are a great inspiration. And we are here for it. Okay?
Yeah. So
okay,
so Monique was on.
Yeah.
What do you think about Monique? What are you
So let's hit the hot topics here, because the interview was 3 hours long.
Yeah, it was 2 hours, 55 minutes.
That's
for
right.
real.
That's right.
Yeah.
And and before he had Kat, on the show, which broke the internet.
Absolutely.
But let's just hit on some hot topics that she talked about, right? So the Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lee Daniels triangle, right? That all came from Precious.
Right.
And how she felt like she was done wrong as far as not what she got paid for the movie.
Right.
But just after that, how they wanted her to promote it.
Right. And she wasn't getting paid to do that.
Which I don't think is a normal thing to get. Now, I could be wrong. Somebody please tell me.
Well, I think what she was saying is once the movie is sold.
That's right.
You don't get paid anymore after that. Once it's sold. So you can continue to do press, but it's unpaid.
That's right.
Yeah. So I see what she's saying. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Because she only got paid $50,000 to do it.
That's right.
And she was okay with being paid only $50,000 for it because it was an independent film.
That's right.
But I do kind of I understand what she was saying about going overseas to promote it when you don't get paid to do that. So it does kind of make sense to me.
But so they just comp your room and things like that.
Yeah, I suppose.
But it's no other. But I think in the actors world, and I could be wrong about this, but they promote it to get more star quality for future projects. Mm-hmm. And if I don't know if it's just like a part of the job and kind of humbling yourself to like really pitch the work that you did.
And I will say this about Monique. I believe her in some ways, but watching Club Shay Shay, it's like story after story after story was something someone has done.
That's right.
And it made me pause because I'm like,
yeah.
Come on, Moni.
Like
what have you done? Is every single situation, Every single
Someone
situation.
else's fault.
Does it have to be drama? Every single situation. And that's what I was getting from her.
Well, and two, I'm like, where is your accountability?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Because you can't talk for 3 hours straight and you've been wronged that much.
Right.
But I
Sweet
like,
baby.
but what I get, but
Sweet
what I
baby.
like about her is she's honest.
Yeah.
And one point that she did bring up is the fact of how people are afraid to talk against these people.
Yep. I'm with her on that. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
same with Taraji.
Yeah.
God bless her.
Yeah.
But now she's going to be labeled
Yeah.
as hard to work with.
Yep. And she recorded the conversation that she had with Tyler Perry, because Tyler Perry was the one that said that Monique was difficult, and he apologized to her for that. Did he apologize?
I don't
No, he acknowledged that he
acknowledged
said
it,
He
but-
acknowledged that
yeah.
he said it. So I don't know. I would definitely check out Club Shay Shay with Monique.
I mean, because, you know,
Yeah.
my man Shannon Shay. Now, come on, Mo. Come on.
he said, "Ain't nobody
Come on,
gonna,
Mo.
he said, ain't nobody gonna come on the show no more, Mo."
They ain't gonna come on here. Now, Mo, stop it. I love
when
you.
he does that.
I love you.
I love when he does that.
Yes.
All right, so now it's time for
Reality show recap.
Okay, Beverly Hills.
Yes.
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 13. Mm-hmm. I'm digging it. I like this season.
I do.
I like this season.
I do. I think they have settled in, just like Sutton, your girl Sutton.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
Why is she not irritating me this season?
Because
I think she's chilled a little bit.
she has totally chilled, and she's being very
Nine mom. Nine mom.
Will you stop that? She's being very transparent because she is expressing her hurt from her divorce.
Yeah.
From loss of her father who committed suicide years ago.
Tragic.
And I just think that she just hasn't been able to process all this.
Yeah.
And she's coming into her own, I think, because that ex-husband is moving away. And she's very dependent on that man.
Well, she's getting a hellacious alimony check every month.
That's right.
So she good.
Yeah.
He can go.
Okay.
You know, he can
Yeah.
go. Well, Erika Jayne, she is a crowd favorite this year. She's super skinny.
She looks phenomenal.
And what is so funny to me is that she wants everybody to acknowledge about the earrings, and nobody's acknowledging about the earrings. And I think that is so funny. You know, I think everybody should get the same treatment I get. Isn't that how she talks?
She does.
I think everybody should get it, honey.
Yeah, and it's hurting her feelings.
It is hurting her feelings. But you know one thing I will say, Tip, about Erika Jayne?
Yeah.
She can read.
Oh, God, yeah.
She can read like a black girl.
And she's really smart.
She knows a lot
She's
about
street-
a lot of things.
she's street smart. She's worldly
but
smart.
But she's quick. She's quick, and I really like that about her. I do. I like that about her.
Poor little Cal. She's, going through it, and with her marriage with Mo, and you're seeing that play out.
Yeah.
And I think eventually they're going to tell the kids, how they're going to be separated.
Right.
But I get Kyle now. I think she has sacrificed a lot for her family, her sisters.
Now she's being selfish, and she's thinking about herself.
Totally selfish.
Yeah, she's thinking about herself.
And it is coming out, and Mauricio doesn't know what to do with that. Because he's used to her, going along to get along.
Yeah.
His love being, as he calls her.
Yeah. I love the Garcelle and Dorit argument.
Oh, yes. Can we talk about that?
I want to talk about that. Absolutely.
I when this scene happened, when she told Dorit, "I can't with your privilege," I had to. I rewound it like two times.
Absolutely.
Because I was like, someone finally said it, but she said it in a classy way.
Yeah.
Right. And Dorit was totally
well. The thing
blindsided.
is, as a black woman,
That's right.
when we are vocal, or if we are saying something maybe differently than our counterparts, we're called attacking, or we have an
we're
attitude.
angry.
And Dorit said, I mean, you're just sitting here attacking me.
And she was having a conversation.
She was having a conversation.
Yeah.
You and I joke about that all the time.
Yeah.
We're on the phone, like how our counterparts will sometimes say, like, I'm shaking right now.
Yeah.
That is so annoying to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How can you say, when you look at that clip, she was not attacking her.
No.
It was a conversation like you and I are having, like you and I have had all the time. And you and I have talked about similar things, and I never once have said, Tiffany, why are you attacking me?
That's right. That's right.
I didn't take it that way.
Yeah. It's happening also on Housewives of Miami with Kiki and Lisa.
Yes.
And
yes.
Once again, you know.
We'll talk about that one next week because you know who's getting on my nerves on that one is Gertie.
Yeah, bless Gertie's heart.
Yeah, bless her heart. But we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah,
but anyway,
so Crystal is boring.
she's forgettable.
I think this might be her last season.
It should be.
Yeah.
And then also to little other news and housewife Candy Burris.
Yeah,
Out.
she quit.
Yeah, she quit. She said she's taking a break.
It's
That
good.
means she'll
Good for her.
probably come back.
Good for her.
Yeah.
She's got too many other things going on.
I agree. So now it's time for movie recap.
Yes. So guys, Tony and I went to the movies and we went to go see Origin. It premiered on September 6, 2023.
In Sundance, I think
In
it did.
Sundance.
It did.
Yeah.
It came here in January.
It did. Let me just say, guys, this is a film done by Ava DuVernay. And I'm telling you guys, if you want to learn about your history and this racial discrimination, to look at it in a different way, it is based on an author named Isabel Wilkerson, who is a Pulitzer Prize winner. And it is showing you her journey of this book that she created. And it's called Caste, The Origins of Our Discontents. I told Tony I'd never known the full meaning of caste until I watched this movie. And basically, she went and researched slavery, the Holocaust, and the people in India. Okay,
Dalits. They call it Dalits.
Dalits, which are another translation for untouchables. And so basically, it is a discrimination within your own race. Okay, so it's the superior versus the inferior. And let me just tell you, the way this woman did her research and broke this down was life-changing. Would you not agree?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
so
I'm talking about this film was so touching on so many fronts. We talked about this on the phone.
Yeah.
In tears. Like crying in tears on this particular movie. I think for me is how manipulative people are amongst other races and how it goes and continues from generations to generations to generations. Right. And how in this movie, Adolf Hitler used the segregation system of how we do it in America to get rid of the Jim Crow laws. Yeah, the Jim Crow laws to get rid of the Jews in the Holocaust.
That's right.
And another touching part for me was when she went over to Germany to learn more about the origins of the Holocaust and how the Jews, they know exactly how many people were gone. That's right. And killed and in the Holocaust.
6 million Jews.
But when you get to slavery, there is no number.
That's right.
There's no number. There's so many generations of us not knowing.
How many have been lost. We can't go back and link our lineage.
Nope. There's no number.
It's very hard for the African American to track that. The scene Tony's talking about is, so Angelou Ellis, who's my sorrow, but she's an amazing actress. She goes over to Germany and she's sitting at the table and she's having this debate with a German couple.
Yep.
And some things really came out of that, meaning they talked about, okay, there's no trace of Hitler here. None of that is celebrated.
And you get fined.
That's right.
If you get jailed.
That's right.
If you have the Nazi symbol or any of that.
So the any way you can learn about this history, you have to go to the Holocaust Museum.
Yeah.
Isabel, the lady, Angelou, who played Isabel, states to them, and she says, well, where I come from in my country, we have statues, we have all kinds of
Confederate flag.
We have the Confederate flag. We have reminders of what happened, of the abuse and the slavery. And they were just blown away because they were like, that's not like that here. Like, it's like it was wiped away.
Yeah.
the when she went to go visit the Holocaust Museum and she saw the picture of the men in the room, and it touched her, it struck her, and she was like, "What are they talking about in that room?"
She got the notes from that actual meeting.
She got the transcript from that meeting.
Yep.
And they were using the Jim Crow laws, as you said,
as their basis to create the Holocaust.
But it still wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Because they were like, "No, we're giving them rights. Yeah. We want to extinguish them forever." Because they were so afraid of them, you know, the way the Jews were prospering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were intimidated by all of that.
It's a sad movie.
Talk about India, though.
That to me, mine for me was Outright. The story for me. Now, India part, that was like the Untouchables. They were called the Daleks. And they were considered, as far as you got these different classes of Indians, and then you got the Daleks. They're the lowest of the low. And they were responsible for the sewage and going in and cleaning out poop. And the only thing that they had on their skin to protect them from that was oil. Yeah. Right? You talk about how you would see a Dalek child on the floor.
Because they can't sit.
Because he can't sit with any of the other Indians. And he's on the floor learning the way everybody else is sitting at a desk, touching. Broke my heart, actually. But the part for me was Al Bright. Yeah. He was a African-American boy in the 30s. Yes. 20s or 30s. And he was on a baseball team. And he was the only one on the baseball team. They'd won this wonderful game. And they were going to go celebrate and go swimming. Yes. And they go to the facility to go swimming, and he can't get in the water. Are you kidding me? He can't get in this water. We take us all day to clean out that swimming pool.
That's right.
So ignorant.
And his teammates were like, Al's the one that won the game.
Right. And but what was so amazing was his teammates were grown adults now. And he said, when he was recounting what happened, he was a kid then. He was recounting what happened, and he was saying how that still affects him to this day, how they did him, because he had to watch them swim and have a good time over a fence. They wouldn't let him get in the pool. Yeah.
Until the coach kept arguing with the pool manager. Yeah. And then they came up with a solution.
They put him on a float. And
was
don't you touch that water.
It was awful.
It was that, to me, it hurt my feelings so bad. It had me in tears right there, because that could not have been fun for that kid.
You saw
You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking when I had the conversation, looking at our grandparents, they never got to experience the things that we get to experience today.
That's right.
And it's sad. It's hurtful.
Let me ask you a question. Growing up in Fayetteville, did you feel any racism? Like, I feel like my family protected me from it. Like, I didn't have like anybody calling me the N-word or anything.
No, I never had that.
And it seems like as I've gotten older,
it's worse now than it was back then. But we know why it's worse now. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But no, I never felt that. But I know it was there. Let's be very clear. I knew it was there, but I never actually felt that.
And so, another thing we talked about with this movie is it's also showing you the life of Isabel, right? Yeah. And so her journey and her loss. And so she loses her husband.
Who's a little Richard Gere.
Yes, I love him.
Cutie pie.
And she loses her mother.
Yeah.
She loses her best friend, who is her cousin, who is played by Niecy Nash. Yeah. Who did such an amazing job. In her role.
You know, it's a good movie. There's three things you got to look at. They talk about the Jews. They talk about slavery. They talk about the Daleks, the Indians. If you really want to challenge yourself, I would watch it, because it's a historical piece.
Absolutely.
It's origins, and the title itself is exactly what it is, where this comes from. Is it caste or is it racism?
That's right.
So that's what you got to figure out from that movie. It was a great movie. I definitely see her winning something from this.
Yeah, and a great cast as well. Cast. Champagne moment for sure. Next is a drama recap. Ooh, Griselda, honey. Griselda Blanco.
Sofia, is it Vergara?
Oh
my God. Vergara.
Played the mess.
She did. She played a really
good role, honey.
Yeah. The nose, the aesthetic of the, the prosthetic nose.
They tried to make her ugly. I still thought she was pretty, but
she,
yeah.
So Griselda was like this boss chick in Colombia. She was like moving drugs like crazy. And this actually came out in January 25th, and it is inspired by real events. But I will tell you this. She was known as the godmother, right?
Cocaine
the cocaine godmother. And she was making tons of money. Tons of money.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to tell you, it's 6 episodes, 1 hour long. You got to watch it.
Yeah.
It is 100% worth the watch. But I saw another documentary on this called Cocaine Cowboy Season 2.
Okay.
This documentary or this drama didn't hardly depict how ruthless she was.
Yeah.
She killed so many people.
She did.
Honey, she was going to kidnap JFK Jr.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you got to watch that
Well,
too.
I think it really distorted her when she started using her own product.
Yeah.
I went back and watched Catherine Zeta-Jones's version of it. And what really got her convicted was the murders.
Yeah.
Because she was working for Escobar.
Yeah. He was working for her. Pablo Escobar.
Well, she was running Miami, but trust and believe he was her supplier.
Okay.
He
you need to watch
supplied
that.
the coke.
You got to watch the documentary.
Oh, okay.
You got to watch it because it was very enlightening.
Because she was getting the coke from him.
Watch the documentary.
Okay.
Watch that documentary.
Okay.
Yeah. He was one of her people.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And then the hitman ended up giving her up.
You're going to hate him in the documentary.
And so, but then
Rivy. Yeah.
But then he had an affair over the phone with the secretary
that
that works for the DA's office.
In the DA's office. So that blew that case out the water, right?
So really he confessed, but then he didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made up for it.
Oh my gosh.
But I think this is some of her best work.
I agree. It was good to see her out of that element because when I think of her, I'm thinking of Gloria from Modern Family.
Yeah.
And she still sometimes when she talks, she would still have that like Gloria accent, even though she's Colombian on Modern Family.
Yes.
But it was really good to see her out of that and into this notorious boss bitch.
That's right. Now you gotta pay attention, honey, because it's a whole lot of subtitles.
It's a lot. Let me tell you something.
I was like this one night. I was like with one eye open.
Now, I'm glad you said that because you know I'm lazy in that regards.
My gosh.
When they're speaking in Spanish, I don't want to have to read. I want to,
It's a lot of reading, guys.
It is a lot of reading, but what I did was I made mine extra large so I could sit and, really read it.
Because you can't do anything.
No, you can't.
You have to
stay
pay
with it.
attention.
You do.
And
you
it was also
do.
some drama surrounding it because the son...
Oh, yeah.
Of
Michael
Griselda.
Corleone.
Yeah.
And that she named after Michael Corleone from Godfather.
Was suing her for copyright infringement.
Oh, wow. She don't need to mess with them.
But it only made the series popular off of that.
It is excellent.
It is amazing.
Excellent, yeah.
Champagne moment
for sure. All right, now it's time for...
documentary recap.
Oh.
The greatest night in pop.
We are the world.
We are the children.
Okay, so this came out on Netflix January 29th, and it was produced by Lionel Richie. So this was one night after the American Music Awards. That was 1985, right? It was after American Music Awards. And all these stars went to record this one song because Harry Belafonte reached out to Quincy Jones and was like, we need to figure out something, how we can feed Africans, poor Africans. And so Quincy Jones, being the genius that he is, said, okay, well, I got this idea.
Yeah.
And let's bring all these different stars together to do We Are the World.
Yeah. And at the time, Lionel Richie's still a mega star, but he was the glue to really bring people in and convince them, look, this is meaningful. This is going to be a special night.
Yeah.
I promise you need to be there.
Right.
And of course, our beautiful Michael Jackson wrote the song.
Oh, God. Let me say, on this, Michael sounded angelic.
And he was brown.
I like that Michael Jackson.
He had his little baby curl.
But, I like the Michael Jackson from Off the Wall. I think he should have left it there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And even that Michael Jackson was super cute. He should have just left it alone.
Yeah.
But you had people like Cyndi Lauper, who was killing it. You had Bruce Springsteen, who just got off the road from a tour. Mm-hmm. You had Stevie Wonder, who was a late adopter. Remember?
Right.
They had to almost beg Stevie to be a part of it.
He showed up at the last hour,
yeah,
but
you
he
had
made it.
Billy Joel, Tina Turner, Huey Lewis, Bob Dylan.
I know.
Oh, so this is the thing about Bob Dylan. He didn't feel confident in in his performance.
And honey, he shouldn't have.
Well, yeah, but it worked. It worked for the song.
Stevie saved the day.
Right. So it worked for the song because if you listen to it now, it's still that same, is the way. Mm-hmm. He didn't feel confident in it. And Stevie Wonder had to help him, talk him through it and show him, okay, this is the octave you need to use. And even when he got done with it, Bob said, that wasn't a good one.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
He said, y'all lying to me. It wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
But what about my man Waylon Jennings who walked out?
Girl.
When they started talking? Because, when you have those type of creative heads in the room,
yes,
they want to say, oh, we should do it this way. We should do it that way.
And but he had a sign up that said, check your ego at the door.
He did. But
Quincy Jones.
But Quincy had already, it was written. It had been produced. I just need you to sing the song.
That's it.
But Stevie was like, oh, we need to sing something in African. And then he was singing it. And it was like, that's not.
That's what Jalen Willing, what's his name?
Jalen was like, I don't know. Y'all done lost me. He walked out and left.
Bye.
But then Stevie wasn't even really singing it right. It was just a funny moment. But they got back on track. They started at 10 o'clock at night.
Yep.
And didn't leave that studio till 8 in the morning the next morning.
Day.
And Diana Ross was crying because she was like, I don't want this to end.
She didn't want it to be over. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really great documentary. I had no idea. And what about your man Al Jarreau, girl, getting drunk?
Oh my God, Al Jarreau was drunk. They had to keep taping over and over for Al Jarreau to get it right because he was drunk.
Al was like, another drink, please.
Yeah, he was drunk.
By the time it was his part,
oh my God,
they were like,
fun.
okay, but Al was litty.
What I thought was also funny too was that you had all these stars in there. You had like Kenny Loggins and Huey Lewis, and they were starstruck too.
I know
about the amount of stars that was there. That was history making.
It totally was.
It was history making.
And half that room is dead and gone, girl.
Yeah.
Oh, girl,
sad. That's a good one. Y'all got to check that out on Netflix. So one of the things we're thinking of doing this season is we're going to follow one episode of something. Yeah. And we're going to talk about it every week.
Yeah. So we'll spotlight.
We're
going to come up with a name.
Yeah. It was in my other notes. I'll tell you about that later.
Okay. Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, guys, we're on our phones.
I had a printer malfunction.
Oh, I did too.
Thank you, Tawana. I sent you the wrong stuff. So thank you, Tawana. It's all on me. We're on our phones. But anyway.
Yeah.
So Feud, what did I call
Capote.
Capote.
Capote. Truman Capote.
Wait a minute. Tell the story.
Truman Capote.
Tell how confident I was with it. What I said.
Girl, have you watched Capote? I said...
You said, what's that on?
Oh, Capote.
Pootie Tang?
I said, oh, you mean Capote.
I said, whatever. It don't matter.
So, Feud, Capote versus the Swans. It's on FX and Hulu.
It is so good.
It premiered on January 31st.
Yes.
It's based on his book, Capote's Women, A True Story of Love, Betrayal, and a Swan Song.
Yes. So he was this great playwright guy, right? He was gay. And he was so enthralled with being with these ladies in New York socialites. You had Bill Paley's wife, Babe, who he said was she's just, the only problem is she's perfect.
That's right.
That's what he said.
That's
so you got these high-powered women. You've got Lee Roswell. Well, you've got...
Ann Woodard.
Yeah. And so what happens is they go to lunch. They have these high society lunches, right? These select women. He calls them his beautiful swans because they turned into swans. And what he does, the premise of this, we'll dig deeper into it as the weeks go. But the premise of it is that he actually was telling he put the secrets that they were confiding in him. He was putting it in a book and it came out. Ann Woodard actually killed herself because she got an advance copy because he accused her of killing her husband.
Yes.
And he put that rumor out there.
So he was struggling financially.
Yeah.
And he was also an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And this was a quick way to make some money. And he sold his friends out. But these women adored him. He was very charming.
The men loved him. And they weren't gay. They thought he was like, whoever he is intriguing. He's outstanding. His voice dialect to me was the funniest ever. I love the way he spoke. Yes. I'm going to try to have that next week.
The guy who plays him, I thought I put it in the notes. Tom Hollander.
He's playing the heck out of it.
Is amazing.
Now, let's also know Molly Ringwald is playing Joanne Carson. Yes. Now, Joanne Carson was not part of this select few women. Yeah. She wasn't quite there yet.
That's right.
That's played by Molly Ringwald. But Diane Lane looks amazing. She's slim.
It's star-studded, guys.
It is. Jessica Lange was in it.
Yeah.
She was his mom.
And so the first episode just opens up and shows you how he was introduced to these women.
Yeah.
And that the lunches that Tony's talking about. And then the decision that he is going to write an expose.
Yeah.
Because it started out in the magazine. Yeah. And then he created a book.
Yeah.
Based on it, and it was very popular.
Anything that Ryan Murphy does, you got to pay attention to.
Let me tell you
honestly,
this
is his brainchild. This is on FX and Hulu. Anything that he does, you know, it's going to be outstanding.
It's going to be a winner.
It is. It's going to be a winner.
Yeah. So we're gonna. I think there's only 3 episodes out.
Yeah.
And so basically,
y'all got time to catch up on it. So watch it on Hulu. Please catch up on it. We're probably gonna do a live next week where we can kind of dig into it a little bit more. And if you have, we want you to join in the live and make sure that you come with questions and let's talk about it. Let's have a good dialogue about it for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So now it's time for.
What you watching? Okay, I watched it.
Okay. We're going to talk about it next week, remember? So, American Fiction, fabulous.
Okay, because I might need you to talk me through this.
Okay, so we'll talk about, next week we're going to talk about American Fiction. This one has Jeffrey Wright in it, Tracee Ellis Ross, and Issa Rae. I loved it.
Okay.
You didn't like it.
I just need to ask some questions.
All right, we'll talk about it. But that's what we're going to be watching and what we're going to talk about next week. And then also, Bob Marley.
I'm so excited about this.
I am too.
One Love.
Yeah.
It comes out February 14th on Valentine's Day. I'm so excited about this.
I am too. And I went back just so I can just get a little premise on it a little bit. I watched the Bob Marley documentary. Yeah. That was on Netflix.
Okay, you watched it.
Yeah, it was a few years ago. It's good.
Okay.
It's good. It's really good. I think if you don't know much about Bob Marley, start with that. Okay. Then go watch the movie. Because I think it'll give you a bit more context. Yeah. I think. Yeah. For me, I think it will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it will.
Because a lot of people don't understand his life. Yeah. I think, like, he actually died from cancer.
And it started in his toe.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I'm saying. That's like, it's crazy. It started in his toe.
Okay. So we're going to have a Marley day next time.
We're going to talk about that next week for sure.
Okay.
But listen, we did it on our phones.
I actually liked it.
I want to hold something. I want to hold something. That's it.
That's it, guys.
Season 5, episode 1 in the books.
Yes. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, popcorn_champagne.
Yes. And don't forget to get the Tony and Tiff mix from Colonel's Popcorn and get 10% off.
Yes.
Yay. Bye, guys. See you next week.
Love you.
I get home. Never been so lucky. I can have it all.